This thing will totally grind up fire piggies, and like I said, these are being spawned in at 20 mobs per second, so this is exceeding any of the gold farms that you are probably realistically going to ever see. What's going on, guys? I'm MarsBuilt, and welcome back to another Minecraft Bedrock Redstone tutorial video. In this video today, I'm going to be showing you how to make my brand new advanced Trident killer design. This is the version 2 from my previous design with a couple upgrades to it. Some of the upgrades include a trapdoor that's going to keep the mobs from spinning around, allowing them to be killed faster in a lot of different farms. The other upgrade is going to be the discharge system, which is going to get your items inside of your storage system a whole lot faster. Now this tutorial is going to be a little bit different than my traditional tutorials. I'm going to be testing this out, so let me know how you like. Ow, fire. Take 2. Now this tutorial is going to be a little bit different than my traditional tutorials. On this one I'm going to be jumping right into building this thing with little to no delay, and then if you want to stick around for the end of the video, I'll be showing all of the juicy bits such as the kill rates of this farm, how it performs, and all of the information that you really need to know. So without further ado, let's jump into building this thing. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is make sure this thing is chunk aligned and not crossing any chunk borders. I'm not going to say that it will not work if you do not chunk align it, however the only way that I can guarantee the efficiency and also the reliability of this is if you do indeed chunk align it. In order to do that, you could click the shorts video in the top right now. That's going to show you a leaf method, which is very simple and easy to do, and all you need is some leaves off of a tree in order to do it. The second method is the method that I have behind me, which is a resource pack by Foxynotail that you're going to download onto your game, and then you have this along with a ton of other useful tools, which I highly recommend. The link for that will be down inside of the description below. Now before we get started, you do want to make sure that you have enough room in the area to build this. This is going to be 4 blocks wide by 4 blocks wide. Unless you count the trapdoors and the levers, then it's going to be 6 blocks wide by 6 blocks wide, and it's going to be 7 blocks tall. So make sure that you have enough room underneath your mob farm in order to build it. Or if you need to make any adjustments, then make the adjustments necessary in order to fit this inside of there. Alright, now that we have it chunk aligned, we can get started on our build. I do have the 2x2 area here, which is going to simulate a mob funnel to where all of the mobs are going to be dropping out of this 2x2 area. So the first thing that we want to do is identify what direction we want our ice stream to come out of. For this tutorial, I'm going to have it coming out of the back here. So what we need to do is grab our solid blocks, and we're going to go to the side where we want the ice stream coming out, and we're going to place a block right here. This block does need to be a solid block that redstone can pass through. Then we're going to place down 2 temporary blocks underneath it. On that very top block, we are going to take our trapdoor and place it on the bottom of that block. You want to make sure that it is on the bottom of the block and that it does flip up just like that in order for it to work properly. Next, you can grab your observers, remove this center block here, and you're going to go up and place down an observer here. You want the output arrow facing up and the face facing directly straight down. Next, we can grab some glass, and you're going to make a loop all the way around here. Next, you're going to want to grab your pistons, and you're going to place a piston directly next to that observer. Then you're going to turn to the right, place one here, turn to the right, place one here, and turn to the right and place one here as well. All of these need to be on the right hand side, and they should all be facing in towards the center of your Trident killer. Next, take your glass, and you're going to fill this all in with glass all the way around once again. Next, you're going to want to grab your solid blocks, and you're going to place a solid block directly underneath each one of these pistons. Then you want to go to the side with the observer on it, and we're going to place another solid block here, a temporary block here, and 2 more solid blocks right here. Remove that temporary block. And then from this position, you want to go to the right hand side. Then you're going to place down a temporary block here, a solid block here and here. Remove that temporary block. Go to the right again. We're going to place down another temporary block here, a permanent block here and here. Remove that temporary block. Then we're going to go to the right once more, and we're going to place down a temporary block here and a permanent block here. Remove that temporary block. Once you've done this, then you want to go into the center here. We're going to place down a solid block here and here, and a solid block here and here. Next, from the side with the observer on it, we want to come to this block here, place down a temporary block here, and then we're going to place a dropper facing out this direction and remove that temporary block. Then we want to grab our hoppers, and we're going to place a hopper going into the right hand side of that dropper. Then we're going to go to the back. We're going to place in a hopper going into the back here, 2 hoppers going into the back here, then we're going to place a temporary block right here. Next, inside of this little hole here, we're going to want to scaffold up a little bit. And then we can grab our fences, and we're going to place down a fence here, and a fence here, and a rail on top of that temporary glass. On top of that rail, we could take a hopper minecart. We're going to place the hopper minecart on that and give it a nudge forwards. That's going to allow us to break that rail, and then we can break that temporary block. Remove your scaffolding here. And then what we want to do is take that hopper minecart, and we're going to push it all the way up against both of those fences right inside of the corner, just like that. At this point, we can grab our hoppers. We're going to place in a hopper into this side of the dropper, and then we're going to bring the hoppers down through here and then a final hopper facing into this hopper here. That's going to allow us to have 2.5 hopper speed, unloading all the items. Next, from the back of the Trident Killer, you're going to want to grab your glass, some solid blocks, and some temporary blocks. You're going to place down a temporary block here, a piece of glass to the left hand side, and 2 solid blocks here and here. Remove that temporary block. Then we're going to take another temporary block and place down a temporary block here, and I'm going to have to dig down a little bit so I can get underneath it. Then we're going to place down a solid block here and remove that temporary block. Once you've done that, you're going to grab your solid blocks again, and looking at it from the back, you're going to build this out to the left by 1. Then you're going to come around to the left hand side, and we're going to build this towards the front of the Trident Killer by 2, just like this. Then you're going to build this out by 2, just like that. And then you're going to build this towards the dropper by 1. Then we're going to place a solid block directly underneath that dropper. So this is what it should look like. Now it's time to install all of our redstone bits, so go ahead and grab all of those. We're going to be installing those next. The next thing that you want to do is go to the side with your observer on it. We're going to go to the left by 1, and we're going to find this block here. On this block here, this is going to be the block that we power in order to turn the Trident Killer on and off. So you want to power this. It doesn't really matter if you use a redstone repeater, if you're wanting to power it remotely, or if you use a lever. However, for this tutorial, I'm going to use a lever, so I'll place that here and turn it on. Then we are going to want to grab our redstone torches and place down a redstone torch here with a repeater on this block here facing towards the left hand side on the standard 1 tick delay. Then we're going to come to the left hand side and place down a repeater here, follow around to the left again, a repeater here, follow around to the left again, and place a repeater here. Next, we're going to come around here to the glass block here. We're going to place down a repeater here facing towards the right hand side. We're going to put this on a 4 tick delay. Now directly underneath this, we're going to go to this block here, and we're going to place down a redstone comparator here facing towards the left, and then we're going to click on that to put it into subtract mode, which is going to make our comparator clock. Next, we can get all of our redstone dust installed. So what we need to do is go here, and we're going to place redstone dust in all of these locations here. And then we're going to place a piece of redstone dust here with a button here. This button is going to keep this redstone dust from locking this hopper, so it's very important. Do not forget it. Next, on the side with the lever here, we're going to place down a piece of redstone dust here, which we'll place that directly on top of that hopper. Then we're going to place down redstone dust here, go to the left, redstone dust here, and redstone dust here. That's going to complete all of the redstone dust inside of your Trident Killer. Now if you go ahead and flip on that lever, you can see that everything works properly. The Trident Killer goes around like it should. And then if we turn this off and fill up this dropper here, we should have this discharging items at a very high rate. So if we turn that on, we can see this thing is spitting out items like crazy, which is exactly what we want it to do. So we can turn this off and remove the items from this. Next, you're going to want to grab your trapdoors. We're going to go to the back of each one of these pistons and place down a trapdoor on the bottom of them, all the way around. And this is going to allow the water not to leak out the back of the piston. Then you're going to take your water and you're going to waterlog all 4 of these pistons, all the way around. And then you can flip up all 4 of those trapdoors. At this point, we're going to get our ice stream installed to wherever you need it to go, and you're going to want your packed ice, you're going to want your glass, buttons, and also, of course, water. So start off by grabbing your packed ice, and we're going to bring this out as far as you need it to connect to your storage system. Then we're going to take our glass and place down a piece of glass here, a piece of glass here, a temporary glass block here, and then place a piece of glass there. Remove that temporary block. Next, you're going to take the ice on the sides and drag it all the way across until it meets up with your packed ice. Before you install the roof on here, you're going to want to take your water bucket and place down your water bucket on this block here. It's going to flow out 8 blocks and stop, and then you're going to want to place your button right where it stops here. And then you're going to place down another water bucket after it, and repeat this as necessary until you get to your destination. Now you could theoretically leave this open, however I do like to close mine off, so you want to put a roof all the way across this. And now all we have to do is to test this thing out. So let's see how she does. And before we throw some mobs in here, we do of course need some tridents. So we're going to throw in some tridents that have the impelling 5 enchantment on it. And depending on how many mobs come into this Trident Killer, and depending on the output of your farm, you're going to want to put at least 2 of the tridents inside of here. However, if you have a really fast farm, you might consider putting 4 of them inside of here. Alright, so before we get into testing this thing out, let's get into all of the need to know bits before we get started. One of the first things that you need to know, just like most every other Trident Killer, is they don't really work well with spiders. So in order to deal with spiders, you are going to want to place down a piece of magma block that is right over top of your water funnel to where that spider can be pushed on top of it. And then you're going to want water flowing over top of it. That way all of the items are going to be flushed down into your Trident Killer to make their way into the collection system. If you do want a Trident killer that will work with spiders, there is this one here. However, you will want to change out all of these glass blocks for magma blocks. That way the spiders are not able to climb up. This is going to be my remote Trident killer. However, this is not released yet, and it will be coming up on my channel in the future. So definitely make sure that you are subscribed, that way you do not miss that. Aside from regular spiders, this Trident killer on the tutorial today will absolutely chew through all of the cave spiders because they're 1 block wide, and they are able to fall right down into the Trident killer. So excluding the mobs that are 2 blocks wide, there is an absolutely ton of mobs that this Trident killer will work with and kill very, very quickly. However, these are just a short list of the ones that I am trying out today. However, there is a ton more mobs that this thing will chew through. So without further ado, let's send some mobs inside of this thing. Hold it ever, Crunk! We will start off with the easiest first and save the big boy for last. So we're going to start right here and put some creepers inside of there. And these are going to be dropping mobs in at 20 mobs per second. So as you can see, this thing is keeping up with the 20 mobs per second and absolutely chewing through them. So if we turn that off, you'll be able to see these creepers almost instantly clear out of here. And they are really no match at all for my Trident killer. Second is going to be the zombies. However, I don't want to cheat, so I'm going to place some solid blocks up here. That way they don't take any of the damage from the sun. That way, all of the damage that they're going to get is going to be from the Trident killer itself. So we can throw this lever on, and those zombies are going to fall inside of there and be chewed up very quickly as well. And we're not going to have any of the zombies escaping. So we can turn that off, and as you can see, just like the creepers, it almost instantly clears out as well. Then we could throw some skeletons in. These guys are instantly going to be killed due to them having very little health. So we could turn that off, and just like before, it clears out almost instantly. Now we're going to get into the more difficult mobs. The fire piggies with the gold farm is going to work extremely well, and I do highly recommend this Trident killer for gold farms. Because of the super high discharge rates, it's going to be able to deal with not only the mass number of piglins that come out of a gold farm, but it will also deal with the mass numbers of non-stackable swords that come out of here as well. Eek, that is a lot of items. I should probably do something about that. There we go, that's better. We can throw that on there, and boom. Anyways, as I was saying, this thing will totally grind up fire piggies. And like I said, these are being spawned in at 20 mobs per second. So this is exceeding any of the gold farms that you are probably realistically going to ever see. So we can turn that off. And those fire piggies are going to clear out almost instantly. A little bit longer because they do have a little bit more health. However, it is going to clear them out very quickly. On the witches were the ones that caused me to do the redesign with the trapdoor, because on the witch farms, these guys like to spin around and avoid the trident and not take damage. However, with that trapdoor inside of there, that's going to fix this as well. Keep in mind, these witches are going to have substantially more health, so they are going to take a lot longer to be killed, because they have a ton of health and they also throw down potions of instant healing. However, on the witch farms on Bedrock Edition, you're not going to have nearly this many witches coming out of here, so you're not going to have that many inside of the Trident killer at a time. However, if we put more realistic numbers inside of there, well, even that's not realistic. But as you can see, you get the point. It chews them up, spits them out, just like every other mob. Now, before we put the Guardians in and the Warden in, we do need to make a minor modification. And this is due to the Guardians piling up underneath that trapdoor and avoiding the Trident. However, with the Guardian farms, you're not going to have any other mobs coming in here. It's only going to have Guardians in, so it's not an issue. All you need to do is remove that trapdoor. You can remove that observer and solid block too. Just make sure that you don't have all of the water pour out and ruin your redstone. So if we remove that and turn it back on, then we could throw some Guardians inside of here. And as you can see, it's going to chew these guys up. Keep in mind, these guys do have a pretty insane amount of health, so it does take a little longer. However, they are going to suffer the same fate. They're going to be chewed up and spit out like everything else. Now, before we spawn the Warden in, Mojang spent an immense amount of time making sure that this guy is as hard to kill as possible. So we do need to make a change for the Trident killer. And that change is going to be adding glass blocks above him. That way he's not able to bounce up inside of the water and get away from the Trident. So what we need to do is count 1, 2, 3 up. And then we're going to go up one more to the 4th block. And we're just going to add a glass floor here. And then fill in our wall. And we can turn that on. And then that's going to allow our Warden to stay down inside of the Trident killer. Now that we got glass above it, we can spawn a Warden in. So we're going to plop him in. And as you can see, for a Warden, he is going to be killed very, very quickly. Now in survival mode, you are going to be a ways away from this guy, because he can still beam attack you from the Trident killer. But for the Warden, keep in mind he does have an immense amount of health, but it will kill him a lot faster than a lot of other methods, such as suffocating him in water. Well guys, that's going to wrap up this Minecraft Bedrock Redstone tutorial video. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I really hope that this Trident Killer helps you guys out inside of your world. This Trident Killer alone will increase rates on your farm just by adding it over a traditional Trident Killer. Thankfully, since it's been out for a while, I've been able to greatly improve it over that period of time and work out all of the flaws and all of the bugs. And with this final design, I don't really see any future upgrades needed in the future unless there is more bugs that come about, or if somebody reports an issue that they are having. With that being said, let me know what you think about this inside of the comments below, and as always, I greatly appreciate you guys supporting the channel and viewing. If you want to stay up to date with all of the crazy farms and contraptions that I build, then make sure that you are subscribed and make sure that bell notification is clicked. That way you get all of the notifications whenever I upload a video. If you feel like the video deserved a like, then please drop a like on the way out, as it really does help out the channel. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.